Welcome back to High Value Dating. Today's episode is for the guys. Gentlemen, I'm going to be diving into all of the things that I hear from women, high value women specifically, that they are looking for in men. And some of these things may surprise you. I'm sure some of them won't surprise you, but this is a conversation that's probably long overdue and needs to be had. And if you're looking to attract a higher caliber woman, a woman who's more compatible to you, who you're attracted to, essentially the full package, beauty, brains, and a great personality, please listen to this entire episode because I think it'll go a long way for you in dating. Hey there, it's your girl Nelly, matchmaker and dating coach. We talk about all things high value dating, how to meet your person, how to find love in today's dumpster fire dating economy, and also how to become a high value single because as I always say, we don't attract what we want in life, we attract what we are. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you follow and subscribe to this podcast, and I can't wait to take you along this journey. Welcome to the High Value Dating Podcast. All right, Jen. So I'm sure a lot of you are curious to know what women are looking for. And I can already hear some of you in the back saying, all women just want money. So let's just start by addressing that. Yes, the elephant in the room. There are a lot of women who are looking for financial success and security in a partner. And by the way, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I would say it's actually smart for women to seek that out in a partner because especially if you think about, wanting to raise children one day. And yeah, we are living in a more modern society now where there are a lot of working moms. I had a working mom growing up. But if a woman, for example, is raising her kids and maybe doesn't have as much time to allot to work, then she might want to, ensure that if she's going to take time away from her job, you're going to be able to pull your weight financially. Or, if maybe she wants to send the kids to private school, that's going to require a partner who's able to also kind of compensate for that financially. Or, if she is going to go to work, then you're going to have to potentially explore getting help, and nannies are an added cost. And so there are a multitude of reasons as to why women look for financial security. Also, I'll be completely transparent with you guys. Yeah, it is a little bit of a status when a woman is with a successful man, right? Just like it's a status when a man is with a really gorgeous, hot girl. And that just kind of boils down to, societal trends and norms, but these things are not going anywhere. And I personally take on the belief system that if you don't want to play the game, you don't have to, but the game's still going on. So you might as well play to win. And as a man, one of the easiest things you can do to stand out to women in the dating marketplace and have more options is by achieving more professionally. Whether that means, if you're an athlete, being a better athlete, if you are in business, being, the best businessman that you can be, being successful. Yes, it goes a long way with women. And you can have a great personality. You can be extremely good looking. But if you want, a woman who's classy and high value herself, it would be worth your while to explore ways to increase your finances. A lot of men are not going to like that I'm saying this. It might even lead to some people calling me a gold digger. I've heard it before. I frankly don't care because I'm not one. To me, being a gold digger is when you're only looking for wealth in a partner, and you yourself don't bring anything to the table, which for a lot of high value women is not the case. A lot of wealthy men that I speak to on a daily basis, they still want successful women. I'm sure if you're one yourself and you're listening to this, you're probably nodding your head saying, yeah, I think it's hot when a girl's got her own thing going on. But at the end of the day, if you want that type of woman who is more established herself and is, the full package, beauty, brains, and a great personality, then you have to give her a reason to give her time to you. And being professionally accomplished is one of them. Let's go to the extreme. Let's say you are a drug dealer and you're a millionaire. Yeah, you might get women, but the top tier ladies, right? The classy ladies. And on the last episode that I did for women, I used the example of Amal Clooney. So I'm going to kind of use that example again. The Amal Clooneys of the world are not going to date you if you don't check out. Okay, if you're not verifiable. So doing some type of honest work, is the asterisk. And I think it kind of goes without saying, if you're listening to this, I imagine you're probably in some kind of honest line of business or work. But Yeah. Let's just be totally transparent. If you want more options and better options in the dating market, it doesn't hurt to become more professionally acclaimed and successful. Okay. Now, that sounds easier said than done. I know it's not easy to make something of yourself, especially if you don't have a leg up in this world. Maybe you come from a poor family. Maybe you don't have an education. Maybe you're an immigrant, right? There's so many different factors that play into one's ability to rise to the ranks of society. But what can you do to get farther than where you are today? Can you seek out mentors? Can you buy courses that will, enable you to build in multiple streams of income? Can you be smart about your investing? Create a plan for yourself and make something of yourself. That's part of one of the that's a characteristic of a high value man. I have guys who, by the way, I pitch to women as a matchmaker, and they are not attractive, and they are like they're attractive enough, but they're not like Brad Pitt. And they even sometimes have baggage, air quotations, right? Maybe they have kids, maybe they have an ex-wife or two. And if they have an impressive profession, or successful, which all of the men I represent do, but if they have that kind of angle, it is a lot easier to get them dates with top tier ladies than it is for the guy who's really hot and less successful, put it that way. And this is, by the way, why you'll see sometimes guys who are unattractive with beautiful women, because they're probably bringing something to the table financially. Being successful alone is only going to get you so far. I mean, if you really want to have the most leverage in the dating market, as a man, you owe it to yourself to also, ensure you are leading with masculine energy and you are conveying to women that you make them feel safe. Women have across the board expressed to me that they prefer men who they feel safe around and secure around energetically. And so it's up to you as the guy to, I think, kind of set the tone for that in the relationship. And you do that through how you show up in your energy. For example, if you're walking with a woman down the street, are you taking the outer lane so that, you're closer to the traffic? Are you offering to, give her your coat? I mean, it's these little things, they're so cliche, but they really do kind of communicate and convey to a woman that you're a gentleman and you are able to, care for her needs, even the small ones early on in dating. So being the type of guy who is solution oriented and in your masculine energy, telling you fellas, it's going to take you very far when it comes to getting with ladies. And I'll go to the other end of the extreme too. Like, yeah, if you're on a date, be the chivalrous one who picks up the bill. I mean, I have spoken to some guys who like to test women, and to me, it's like it's kind of repulsive. I don't even take on clients like that. But sometimes I interview clients and I find that out, and it's an immediate no, because women who are high value are looking for men who value them and cherish them. And part of that goes back to like being a gentleman, being chivalrous. I'm going to address something else that I've heard across the board from some of my male clients, and that's feeling taken advantage of, feeling played. I was talking to a male client of mine last Friday, and he said, Nelly, I'm spending $400 on these dates and it's not going anywhere. And I said, well, think about who you're asking out, right? Are you asking out the girl who, is more provocative on social media, and you're hoping that you're going to take her to a fancy, expensive dinner and get lucky after? Maybe, right? So pick wisely. But I've seen men kind of, I'll just be blunt, date with their dicks. And I get it. As a man, you're more visual than we as women are. I mean, a lot of women are visual, but to a lesser extent statistically. But really try to screen for compatibility, screen for shared values. Don't just go for a girl because she's gorgeous, because you don't know anything about her if you haven't really done your due diligence. Make sure you line up on the compatibility front as well. And sometimes it takes a date or two to do that, but I want you to be a little more thoughtful about your selection process, because it's going to get you farther in dating. If you're just trying to go for the really hot girl on Instagram who's bearing it all and maybe half naked, don't be surprised if she's not classy. Don't be surprised if, she's looking for something more transactional. Go for the girl who's maybe a little more modest, a little more conservative in her appearance, or, not basking at all, or a woman who, has some kind of pedigree or some kind of, shared core value, whether that's religious or political, something, right, that you guys can unite on. Because if you're strictly dating off appearances, it's not going to get you very far. We're going to go to break. And then after the break, I'm going to share some other things that you as a guy can do to separate yourself from the pack, stand out more to women, and ultimately have a lot more advantage in terms of your date and mate selection. So stay with me and let's pick up after the break. Thanks for staying with me through that break, guys. So before the break, I was talking about some characteristics that women look for, high value women specifically, in a mate. And let's continue that conversation. So we talked about financial success. We talked about, just chivalry and being a gentleman and kind of the manners that come with that. But another thing that will get you a lot farther with women, if you're not already doing this, is making sure you are showing up with a plan. There's a saying, women love a man with a plan. Embrace being the leader. For example, I've heard it too many times where guys will message girls being like, where should we go for dinner? Why don't you make a recommendation? Step up, be the guy, make the plan, make the reservation, pick the spot, take the lead, offer to pick her up. I mean, these little things really do go a long way. But as far as like a dating marketability advantage, it helps to look good. Yes, if you're in shape and you're well groomed, it will get you a lot farther, especially if you add that on to the kind of success aspect of being a high value man. Now, yeah, there are guys who are objectively unattractive. I have a lot of clients who don't look like Brad Pitt, to put it bluntly. I have a lot of clients who have baggage. I said it to the ladies, so it would be hypocritical if I didn't say it to you too. It doesn't hurt to look your best. It's never too late to get in the best shape of your life. I have clients who are guys and they will get hair transplants. They will, go on TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy. They'll do these things. I'm not saying you need to do them, but they will do these things because they understand that it will give them more leverage with attractive women. So I would say if you're a guy and, you aren't getting the caliber of women you want, maybe it's an appearance thing too. Maybe you're showing up really scrawny and you've got bad style. Is it worthwhile to hire a stylist? Is it worthwhile to hire a trainer? Maybe I have one client who is very nerdy. And this year he was like, I am going to become the best version of myself physically. He hired a trainer. He's doing boxing. He got a chef. Look, these things are investments. Not all of you are going to be able to afford them. And I get that. But what can you do within your budget, within your lifestyle to enhance your appearance and also your health? Women are also looking for health and vitality because it conveys to them that you're going to live a long life. So if you don't already have a fitness routine, if you don't eat healthy, if you're not well groomed, subtle changes will take you the distance. And, I would say as a matchmaker, I think there's a lot more pressure on women to look good than men. I would say there's more pressure on men to be successful than women, but this is about being the best version of you. And if you can implement new habits to make you look better, like working out and getting more sun and, taking the right supplements and, eating the right foods, then why not? Why not? You're not getting any younger. And if you don't want to be single forever, I would say it doesn't hurt. Now, if that's not naturally you and you're like, I am not into working out, cool. Can you still make an effort to look well groomed? I know a guy who is a multi-millionaire and he is extremely overweight, disheveled looking. He's got a huge beard. And because of it, it impacts his confidence. And so he continues to attract women who are only really dating him for his money. Again, you can find sometimes women who aren't looking for transactional relationships and look that way, but that's not the norm. Take care of yourself, look presentable. You don't need to look like a movie star, but it doesn't hurt to look like the best version of you. And if you want a partner, especially who's really attractive, and you yourself are not like going to be able to fully overcompensate with finances, which you shouldn't even be doing in the first place. But if you again, there are men who they do overcompensate with their finances or their celebrity or their status. And so they're able to kind of put less effort in the appearance department. But if you really want the most leverage, you got to kind of hit all the prongs. So take it upon yourself, get in shape, fix your posture too, right? How you walk into a room really conveys to women, like, if you're a masculine man or not. Be a leader, be the type of guy to take charge, and it will truly get you a long way. I know guys who are really short, but they've got this confidence about them that just makes them sexy. And I know guys who are really tall and they don't, they lack that. Your energy really speaks volumes when you walk into a room. Women like masculine energy. They will submit to you if you are in your masculine energy. They will trust you. They will let you lead. So take it upon yourself to work on that. And sometimes it's a fake it till you make it thing, in the sense that, like, you have to start kind of acting as if you are that guy, and then eventually you become that guy. But have a plan, take charge, be a leader. Now, this is going to look different to, each of you. Like, some of you guys might skew more on the masculinity side than others. I know a lot of guys who are very successful and they are well groomed, but they're a little more beta. And that's okay. Like, everyone has their kind of yin to their yang. But personally, I have seen that with a lot of my male clients, if you are able to step into your masculine energy, you're more likely to get the second date, and you're certainly more likely to kind of command the attention of the women that you're interested in. But that is, I think, a good place to kind of wrap this segment of the episode before we go to break. When we come back from the break, we are going to talk about verifiability and being, connected, and some of the qualities that funnel into that women are seeking. So stay with me and we'll dive into all that and more after the break. Thanks for staying with me through the break, guys. So, as mentioned before we went to break, there are certain qualities that women are also looking for in a partner. And a lot of it goes back to women's desire to date up in socioeconomic status, and also to seek out partners who they feel safe and secure around. And those qualities include integrity, ambition, a good work ethic. And the way that women screen for that is through your verifiability. So if you think about LinkedIn, for example, are there other people endorsing you on LinkedIn? Do you have a consistent track record of being able to hold down a career? These things go a long way with women. And so, being able to verify yourself and have, a blueprint that speaks to you and your character is going to go a long way. Part of that includes, like, even how you show up on social media. I said to the ladies on the other episode that they have to be mindful of how they show up on social media too, right? If you look like a thought, if you look like a hoe, don't be surprised if you attract men who only date you for one thing and put you in a situationship or casual box. And the same goes for you guys. Like, if you are looking like a guy who is only interested in transactional relationships, like I have worked with men before who you go to their Instagram and it's a bunch of private jets and girls with their bikinis on, they look like Dan Bilzerian. It's going to get you women, but it's not going to get you high quality women. So think about how you're showing up and how you're representing yourself online, whether that's LinkedIn, in the press, on your social media, on your dating apps. Help paint a picture for the women that are looking at you, in terms of like what you're about, what your personal brand is. And if you don't know how to go about that, then maybe it's in your best interest to work with a photographer or a stylist and really establish that for yourself. Wearing well-tailored clothing, and positioning and presenting yourself as professional in whatever capacity that makes sense for you is going to get the attention of a classy, high value woman. And likewise, having connections, being someone who, has the ability to call someone up and get a reservation at a restaurant or just make things happen is going to go a long way too. It's in your best interest, I think, as a man to really work on creating a circle for yourself so that people know who you are in your community. You're involved, you're a leader, and that could also be in your company. Like, being someone who is a go-to person is another way you kind of establish confidence to women that you are a high value man, because they know that your network is your net worth. They know that, okay, you check out, and the people you associate with are an extension of you. So I think those are some things to really weigh in when you are trying to attract a higher caliber mate, trying to attract a high value woman. We talked about success. We talked about being well groomed and being, someone who shows up as the most attractive version of yourself. We talked about being someone who's connected and verifiable. The last thing that I'll mention that I haven't really touched on is also being discerning. Women respect men who are also discerning with their time and discerning with who they give their time to. A high value man, one of the things that is kind of emblematic of him is his ability to reject women, even high value women, because he recognizes his value and what he's looking for. As opposed to a guy who's just thirstily, lusting after every girl that walks by because he hasn't gotten any women. Women can sniff out desperation too. And so, how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you act, whether that's in a restaurant or a boardroom, it will go a long way and women will energetically pick up on it. There is that saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So think about these things, try to implement them into your life. Study other high value men, by the way. Look at the men running the biggest companies in the world. Look at CEOs, look at the people who are change makers, and the guys who are in those roles, and start to study them and their attitudes and their characteristics and how they're presenting themselves. You'll see there are a lot of common denominators. If you want to act like a fool and you want to act sloppy and you want to be disrespectful and foul mouthed, you're not going to get very far in that world. So you have to start showing up as the version of you that you want to be. And then women are naturally going to magnetize toward you. You'll see. High value women can sniff out a high value man and they will naturally show up in your life if you start showing up for yourself as a man. Giving it to you straight. And I speak to a lot of women and I get the feedback and, everything that I've shared in this episode, by the way, is inspired by the feedback that I get from women, my female clients, and the women that I set a lot of my male clients up with. So absorb them and turn them into action items if you want. But yeah, if you guys, by the way, want more tips on, how to stand out to high value women, attract high value women, high value dating tips in general, you can always send me a message on Instagram. My handle is at ask.nelly, or leave a comment on the YouTube video. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe and rate and review. It really does go a long way, and it, is good feedback for me. And of course, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer on a future episode, send me a voice note, short one on Instagram, and I'm more than happy to potentially feature you in a future segment. But I think that's a good place to kind of wrap up today and conclude. Appreciate your time as always, and I'm sending you all the good energy in the world as you take on today and the rest of the week. So thanks for listening, and I will chat more with you in the next episode. Bye.
Pioneer.